Good morning. Today is my first day of officially vlogging. And I'm sitting here in my truck about to get my day started. Perfect day to do this because the weather is just magical right now. It is springtime. It is March and things are opening up and blooming. That's why I sound a little congested. We're going to the roastery today and we are going to do some roasting and some packaging for wholesale clients. I'm going to get that already prepped for deliveries. We also have subscribers that have ordered coffee, and we're going to also get their orders ready to go to get shipped out today. So here we go. I'm starting with the breakfast of champions here, getting my protein in, aka Slim Jim. Is this the most ideal breakfast? Probably not. But hey, it works, right? Alright, just made it to the shop here, and let me show you what it looks like. People literally can't find us unless you find us on Google or something. It is not the best as far as visibility, but we're here. We've been rocking it for the past 6 years. This is our shop right here, and we're just in the middle of a random industrial business park. Let's go in. Hey, what's up? How you doing, Katie?
I am surviving.
Same. I'm doing this thing where I'm vlogging.
I love that for you!
Hold on.
So we're going to go ahead and get our Ethiopia coffee all loaded up. This is our Emo light roast coffee. Beautiful coffee from Gucci. That's a region in Ethiopia. I really like coffee that has a lot of fruit, a lot of floral notes. It's very aromatic. Now, a lot of people who've had green coffee will automatically start smelling grass. It smells like wheatgrass. But as you get into more of the different coffees, whether it is a natural process, wash process, anaerobic, what have you, typically with natural or anaerobic honey processed coffees, anything besides wash, that impact of the floral and fruit notes really shine on this. And you can get that on some wash coffees as well. But it's more predominant in these types of coffees. This is a beautiful Ethiopia coffee that I was really grateful on getting. And so we're going to go ahead and roast that up as well. So on a roasting machine, you want to get the temperature at what's called a charge temperature. So we need the machine to warm up at a particular temperature so that way we could start the process. Because as the beans are getting dropped, there's heat that's getting absorbed inside the drum. So we have that residual heat that's going on. And so the technique we use is called, what is it called? I'm totally blanking out. It is called soaking. I'm sorry. Wow. I could not think of that. So soaking is a technique where the temperature of the drum gets to a certain point. We turn off the burners, and then as the green coffee is getting dropped into the drum, all the green coffee is going to absorb that residual heat that's inside the drum. So basically, the beans of coffee are going to be basically warmed up to where it needs to be. And then from there, the burners are going to dip below a certain temperature. The burners will kick on, and then that is going to start our roasting process, and then the burners are eventually going to turn on, and that temperature is going to start climbing right back up to our drop temperature of where we need it to be. So we're waiting for the temperature of the drum to go up. We're going to be at around 380 degrees for our charge temp. So we're waiting on that to warm up. We're getting close. We're at 350. So we got about a minute or two, and then we're going to go ahead and drop the coffee. All right, so we're just about there. I should get on the other side. Okay. And here we go. So now the beans are dropped into the drum right now. And as you could probably hear, those are beans turning in the drum. So we got that AMSR coffee bean edition. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe we could do that on another video. But for right now, the coffee beans are going to be doing its thing, and we're going to let it roast. So pretty excited about this. So you're probably wondering to yourself, okay, how long is a batch size for a coffee? And how long does it take minute-wise? So when we talk about how long the length of a roast is on this particular machine that we have, the 20K Primo machine, it usually takes about 12 to 17 minutes, but that's also dependent on this type of roast that you're doing. Now for us, we're doing a light roast coffee, and the average batch size, since we put 25 pounds in here, is we're going to be probably at around 13, 14 minutes. And if we do like our medium and dark roast, the longer the roast, the longer the time it takes. So if we do a medium, roughly about 15 minutes, and then a dark roast is usually about 17. And again, it also depends on how much coffee we have into the drum as well. I imagine with this type of roast, because we're putting 25 pounds in, which is half the amount that the drum holds, this is going to go a little bit quicker because we have so much airflow into the drum. So there's a lot of moving parts that are happening. So just kind of looking back and looking at the roaster right now, we have what's called the rate of rise that's happening, or the turn, as we should say, as the temperature drops, and then it kind of like stops a little, and then it starts picking up and it starts climbing. And so that's our turning point, or our rate of rise, for you coffee nerds out there. So we're currently at 170 degrees and it's climbing up right now.
So I have no clue what happened, but my other vlogging camera just died. I don't know how these YouTuber people do it, but continuing on our roast for our Ethiopia, I'll kind of show you what it looks like right now. So here we are, we're currently at 292. This set point right here, 380, is going to allow us to have the burners turn off at this particular temperature. So that way we don't have to worry about turning off the burners. And the reason why I do that is because by cutting off the burners at a certain temperature, it's going to allow the residual heat to continue on roasting the coffee. And so we're going to let that residual heat kind of continue on till we get to our drop temp, our temperature that we want our beans to be at. And I'm actually going to lower this. If I can touch the button. We're going to go 378. And why 378, you're wondering? 378, what I have found is that around 370, 375, that's where first crack really happens. So I wanted to give it a couple of more degrees in development time, so that way we have more of that, a little bit more heat on the back end to allow that roast to continue on. Usually when I do a light roast coffee, I typically drop it at around 395, 400. I don't go more than that, because then we're losing the aromatics and the floral notes of the coffee, and especially the acidity as well. And usually on coffees like in Ethiopia, I try to do like a higher charge temperature than I normally do. And so we could draw out a little bit more of that acidity into the cup, which also allows a little bit more of that fruit note to be a little bit more present. So we'll see how this does. This is like meditation, just staring at the machine as it's roasting and just kind of allowing me to take a deep breath and exhale all the things. Okay, so we're coming up 76, 77, and the burner should turn off right about now. Perfect. And look at that coffee. Oh, you hear that popping? That means that we're entering into first crack, so we have some development time that is happening right now. Bellissimo, that was like perfect timing. So we're gonna let this go for about a minute or so, and then we'll go ahead and drop it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and drop it at 395. There we go. There she is. Our Ethiopia coffee. Beautiful. Okay. We're gonna turn off the burners. We're gonna turn off everything, but we're gonna let the machine cool down because it's very hot. And if we prematurely turn it off, then what's gonna happen is that the drum's gonna get warped. So we need to allow proper time for this machine to cool down. But we are gonna turn off the heating source, so that way it won't continue warming up itself.
All right, so I just got backed up with the emu is emo. And normally I have rolls of labels printed, but they're coming in on Thursday and today is Tuesday. So I am completely out of labels. So to improvise, I printed out my labels. Now I have a couple of more sheets going in the printer. And if you're wondering what kind of printer I have the Epson EcoTink 2760 model, I believe. I've had that printer for 6 years since I started my business. And boy, I'll tell you, it is a beast. EcoTink printers, I love them. I think they're great. And they save a lot of money with ink. So every time I print, I don't really have as many issues. I've invested at one point into a laser printer, and the laser printer was just not doing it. And with the ink and stuff, I had to end up returning that. And I've always stuck to my EcoTink. Anyway, enough about the printer. So I'm just taking the front, I'm just taking the front label here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but taking the front label here and just popping it on like so. And one thing about these labels, you got to keep them nice and straight. And that is the whole trick when applying labels by hand, is just making sure that it is on nice and straight when we get this on here like so. Another technique I usually do is just go backwards, and then I'll just label like so. That one has a little bit of a crease, but it's nearby the D and roasted, so you can't really tell what it is. But it's looking good. Do I like the fact that I have to do everything by hand? No, but this is the most cost-effective way for me to get my labels. Now, have I looked into custom bags? Of course, I've looked into custom bags. The one thing about custom bags is that there is a minimum you have to apply for when it comes to getting custom bags. Sometimes you're working with folks who get the bags printed in China, which will lower down the cost. But however, it'll take about 3 to 6 months for your bags to even arrive to you. So what are you going to do in the meantime? Are there US manufacturers that can print the bags custom? Yeah, absolutely. Again, you're looking at minimums of like 1,000 bags, 2,000 bags. There's a company that does print bags, but then I realized by the time I get custom printed bags, it's usually, if I hit a certain minimum, yeah, it'd be significantly cheaper. And especially the bags that are being produced in China are going to be significantly cheaper. But what people don't realize is that you got to look at shipping and other costs that are involved with that. And custom printed bags do take some time. So there's a lot of like future planning that you have to do before your custom bags even arrive to you. And the ones that I roast or made, here on the state side, it would cost me just as much as me making a bag here. If I do, I don't know, 1,000 bag order or 2,000 bag order. So, I mean, it looks pretty, it looks nice. Is it something I want to invest to eventually? Totally. But right now, I'm just happy with I have to do. Is it tedious? Yeah. Is it my favorite thing? No. But hey, bags are being made. I'm doing everything by hand. Eventually, they're going to be sold. So that's how I look at it. Now this is probably the most tedious thing is I got to print out more labels. So this is the label for our Emu is Emo. So not only do I put the front label on, then I got to put the label on to say what the coffee is all about. Then I got to turn around and put a back label on. See, this is why it's a little bit of a tedious task. And I can't cry about it because this is just the way I do things. Everybody is different. People are like, Carrie, why are you wasting so much ink? That's not good. Again, that's because I have an Epson Eco tank. So I only fill my cartridges every 6 months or something wild like that. I mean, honestly, I hardly fill those cartridges and it works best for me. Some people may agree, some people may disagree, but this is how it works. So once we get on the label like that, then the bag of coffee looks like that. I started my business in 2019 and it just feels like it's always been an uphill battle with business and just dealing with inflation costs, raising costs of green coffee, and all these different things. But here I am 6 years later, still in business, still thriving, still surviving. That's the best way I can put it, I guess.
So we got our packaging, labeling all done for today, and I have a couple orders I packed up, and unfortunately my camera died in the process, and then I had some people talk to me, had some phone calls, and I got caught up and I forgot to record. But the good thing is the Emu is Emo that I bagged up earlier is on the shelf. There she is in all her glory. And if you're wondering, the Emu is Emo is a light roast Ethiopia coffee. It's a single origin coffee. Absolutely love it. By the way, this is our retail shelf. And we have some shirts. We got some boba jars that are made locally here in Portland. And there's a couple of more coffees I gotta add to the shelf, but we also have this one too, our Badass Mama coffee. This is a single origin Sumatra coffee because I love coffee from Sumatra. I'm totally obsessed with it. So yeah, this is it. This is our space. As you can see here, it is a very tiny space. Oh, and by the way, let me show you something real quick. Our poor little espresso machine right now. If you come to the back, I had to pull out the fridge here, but we have a mystery leak that is going on in our espresso machine. So this is basically our drain hole. Please, this is really nasty. It is an old machine, you know. This machine was made in like 2007, so she's had some time. But we're noticing a leak. I think the drain hose is leaking back here, and but we're seeing some water spots down over here in this area. Not sure what's going on. So I had to bust open this to figure out exactly what's going on with the leak. I don't know what's going on with the leak. I'm trying to figure out the source. I did notice some corrosion, like some mineral water buildup, some water scaling here, which shouldn't happen because we use filtered water. I think maybe the filter needs to be changed. I'm not sure. I'm overthinking it, but I don't know where the leak is coming from. So anyway, luckily we got a technician in town. We have Black Rabbit Espresso Services that's gonna come by and fix our machine. I would take the time to fix the machine because I have done it before. The only problem is that I semi-trust myself, I guess you could say. I could go in there and try to find the source of the leak, but I have a feeling that if I fix one thing, another thing is needed to be fixed, and it's gonna cause like a whole slew of problems that's gonna take me all day to try to fix this. So just have a professional take a look at the machine. It hasn't been serviced in like 2.5 years, so it is time for our little espresso machine to be serviced. Anyway, back to the office here. Just some final thoughts here. Well, by the way, this is our office. I just wanted to say thank you so much. It is my first time vlogging, and this is kind of like the day in the life of what happens here at the roastery and what I do. And if you like this content, please subscribe to the channel and drop below in the comments what more you want to see. And definitely we'll do some more videos in the future. That is my goal for 2025, is to upload more on YouTube, that's for sure, but your support means more than anything so I can continue on this. So have an amazing day.